Hi and welcome into another video. Today we'll be talking about React hook called useState. It's very important and main hook of React, so let's go and see what we can do with that. Alright, I have instantiated already a Next.js project which is React based, so that's why we are talking about React. But let's talk about useState. So let's create ourselves a very basic component, maybe called home, which we will use. And let's firstly return some kind of a h1 with a counter text. Let's instantiate the console and let's do npm run dev. And let's go here to the console at my local IP address. And let's wait for it to compile so that we know that we have a template for our working here. Yeah, so we have a counter there. So let's talk about the concept of useState hook. So useState, let's firstly import that useState from React. So we lately created a to-do list application on this channel. If you didn't see that video, I will link it down below. We were using useState hook there, but we didn't go into all the details about that. So the first thing about hook that we need to instantiate them on the top level on the component, and the useState will be attached to this particular component. So if we would create another component or another page and we would use the useState hook there with even the same name, there will be totally different separated variables and values. So the useState hook consists and returns an array of exactly two values. One value is the value itself, and the second value is a special function which we use to update it. We usually call it, the first thing we call a variable name. So here is the variable name, and here we usually do a set variable name, but actually this is just a thing by default that we do, and it's a approach that many developers take, but you actually can call it as you wish. So let's go through that, and then we are instantiating a state calling this useState function. And here we can pass initial value, something that will run only once when the component is being created and mounted for the first time. So here we can instantiate it with 0, we can instantiate it with 0 as a string, and actually you can use whatever type that you would like here. So it can be a simple type like number, string, boolean, it can be null, it can be undefined, but it also can be an object or an array. So counter could be like this, and this will be okay. So let's go firstly with a very simple one, so useState, and let's create ourselves here a very basic button and showing off this counter. So let's do it this way. Let's do here maybe a div. Let's do here maybe h1 that we know what we would like to do. Let's then do this count, so we will show the count value, and let's do a button here that will have a on click of set set count. And let's do it count plus 1. We will talk about it a little bit later. Let's see how it will look like. So we will have a h1 of counter, we will have a paragraph of current count value, and we will have a button which on clicks sets this count up by 1. So we have a counter, we have a p, and we have an increment, and that works. So the thing about useState is that the React knows that if we would use this set count, so we don't ever do something like this. So if you want to change this count name, don't do it this way or this way. Always use this set count function, because then React knows that something was updated and it needs to re-render the component, because whenever state changes, it triggers the component re-render, and then it is possible to refresh the DOM and show the current value here. So we were talking about this set count and this count plus 1. But there is one issue to such particular approach. The issue is that when the set count is being triggered, it's not happening instantly, right away, or synchronously. React knows that it needs to optimize its work so that when there more than one update of a state happens, it's try to batch it into, let's say, a transaction, or however we will call it, so that it can be a better performance. So for React, it is better to update some state in one particular at one particular time, so that it doesn't have to re-render component a lot of times, instead of updating and re-rendering component each time the state change. Even when you are doing, let's say, we would have a function here that we would set state 1, set state 2, set state 2, and set state 3. It is better to update them all at once and re-render than re-render and update them one by one. So that's something about that. But that can cause an issue. It can cause an issue of that this count can be something different. So let's say we would do here a function, because this count actually won't be updated right away, as I mentioned. So let's maybe do here more than one. Let's update it few times, like 4 or something. Let's rerun the page and let's try how it will look like this. As you can see, it still goes only by 1. It's not going by 4, because this count at the start is always 0. So we are doing 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1. Then after the state updates, we are doing 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1. So that can be an issue. But React and Next.js developers gave us something to work it out. So set count can also accept a function, not the value itself. So we can give it an array function, and the first argument of this function is always the previous value of the proper state. So we can do it a pref count, and then we can do a pref count plus 1. And this will work exactly the same way here, but if we would do it this way and rerun it, and I will click increment, you will see that we are going by increment of force, not by 1. Because React is smart enough to know that, hey, this pref count will be already updated, because we know that this set count. There is already set count created, and we know that it's waiting, let's say, for being adjusted. So, okay, I'm giving you the proper value here. So that's basic about set count. And the same idea can go when we will change it to more complex values. Let's say, let's do this object here. And then usually when we create an object, we are doing something like that. We will return here an object. So we actually can return here a pref count, which we will spread so that it will have the object will have all the key value pairs which we had before, and we will update just the value. So pref count dot value +1. Let's see, we are missing something here. Yeah, and let's see. Okay, we need to do a count dot value here, and it will work the same. The one thing here would be that if we would have some kind of a, let's say, a secret value here called text, then it will stay the same because we are updating only value and the rest of it stayed the same. And I can show you that here if we will also do a count.secret, that the secret will always stay the same. But of course we can update both values, both values if we like, text modified. And let's do an increment. And as you can see, it works. So useState is a very basic thing of React, and it's the most used component because, as you can see, there is a lot of power to it. So that's all for useState. In some other videos, we will take a look on a different hooks that React offers us. So see ya next time.